controversial proposal to build a new structure on the grounds of Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum has sparked heated debate between the museum's trustees who approve of the expansion and local preservationists who passionately oppose it. Complicating matters is Gardner's eccentric will, which instructs that no changes will be made to the museum's art or the Italianate palazzo that houses it. With more on the story, here is Louisa Adams Eldridge.
Thank you, JR. When I heard this news, I was astonished that there would be any sort of discussion about the contents of Mrs. Gardner's will. A will is a sacred document that the deceased has left to the living to fulfill unfinished business, or else they might return as a ghost, forever doomed to haunt pottery wheels and their buxom sitters. I don't understand all of this hullabaloo surrounding Mrs. Gardner's supposedly eccentric final instructions. Why, even Richard Nixon in his will outlined the proper disposal of his personal notes and records. Is this eccentric? No, it's just good housekeeping. Why, in the late Mr. Adams Eldridge's will, he asked that the contents of the bottom left drawer of his writing desk never be opened again, even when a small woodland creature found its way inside, but not out. JR, it smelled like my Uncle Charles's halitosis for months. A mix of gin, sauerkraut, and black lung. It brought back fond memories of my childhood days. Well, I think Mrs. Gardner's will is completely appropriate. Why, in his will, the late philosopher utilitarian Jeremy Bentham asked that his body be preserved and placed in a wooden cabinet on display at Oxford, similar to the one my dear father would confine my mother to when her crimson tide was upon the shore. Now, that's not eccentric, that's just tasteful. And my own Gerald wished to be dried, stuffed, and preserved for the purpose of mounting above our marital bed in order to ward off potential suitors. I, of course, honored his wishes, and to this day my womanhood has remained as untrammeled as a vicarage at Vespers. Sadly, we eventually had to move Mr. Adams Eldridge's stuffed remains to the conservatory as his psoriasis continued even after his death. And his shedding became unbearable. Maria would have to have cleaned the sheets daily, and you know how they like to slack off. As much as I love dear Gerald, I never appreciated waking up with a mouthful of his dried flesh. Now, one will I do take issue with is Mr. Benjamin Franklin's. He bequeathed to his daughter a portrait of the King of France set with 408 diamonds, requesting that she would not form any of those diamonds into ornaments either for herself or daughters, and thereby introduce or countenance the expensive, vain, and useless fashion of wearing jewels in this country, which just proves my point about Benjamin Franklin. He was a whiny little bitch. Gerald imparted a similar lesson to our son, Jesse, that he refrained from wearing his grandmother's earrings, bracelets, and negligees. But Jesse looked so fine in pink Port-au-France lace, I just couldn't say no. I even allowed him to share them with his roommate, Louis. Honoring a will is honoring the dead. No matter what the request, it must be fulfilled with the utmost respect and care. Who needs a new medical center next to the...
They're not building a medical center.
Oh, they aren't?
No, a shopping center.
Shopping? With a Fellines?
That closed in 2006.
That Isabella was a damned hussy. Tear it down! Who needs Vermeer when I can have competitively priced evening wear? Oh, where's Maria? Maria, where are you? I need my pills. Oh, Gerald, I'm coming.
Thank you, Louisa Adams Eldridge. Good night.